play Art of Dialogue, Art channel. Y'all go over there, like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell. About the letter Tupac sent to Kurt Burrows from jail, telling him that it was war with Bad Boy, Puffy, and Biggie. And all of a sudden, my life just stopped on its own. YouTube, what I do wrong? I ain't did nothing wrong. I ain't did nothing wrong. Let's get over here to Art channel, Art of Dialogue.
A few years ago, I seen you in a documentary called "Who Killed Tupac." It was on A&E, and you were speaking on the Quad Studios incident, and you went into detail about that. If you don't mind, can you revisit that for me?
Yes, Tupac, very soulful artist, came up from Atlanta from that, I guess, trail of issues that he was dealing with. The film, the basketball flick in Harlem that was set place there. He started giving love to the different artists that were around. Of course, he's a celebrity coming in. He was friendly with Big. He saw Little Sean, people like that. They wanted him to come and do a record. That was what was set up at Quad. Biggie, knowing Little Sean, they were all there. C's, all of them. It was just going to be a fun night at the studio. Pac showed up. He saw them looking down from the window. His new friends were there. An incident happened in the elevator. It might have been a scary thing, like just to send a message. Tupac standing his own ground, just didn't leave it at that. He ended up getting hit, getting shot. The elevator went up. Our people were shocked to see him in that state. He was shocked to see our people looking at him shot. He thought that they knew something about it. He thought if he was in New York and he was with all the rappers from the East, they must have known what was going to happen. It had to be in the wind. And situations aren't laid out like that. And it was the furthest thing from the truth, but he held that to his heart. And then he went away. A few other things happened, got better, got repaired, went away, went to jail on a rape charge. Once that came down on him, it looked as if the East Coast must have been the worst thing and the worst place for him to have come to. And it looks as if the friends that he had just turned their backs on him. Suge stepped in. Suge stepped in. And when Suge stepped in, he signed him. He signed him to a napkin at Clinton. And that letter that he sent through Wendy Day, she was definitely a person that was connected and a mediator between most everyone in the hip-hop game and had been for a minute, legendary person. She delivered the letter to my office. It started with West Side Up. So it gave an indication of rumblings that we heard in the street with him being shined by Suge, was definitely true. He's going to go west when he comes back. And he has an issue with us, as he explained, from the studio scenario to the rape scenario, things that were happening in the street to him, extortionists, things that happened in the East, in the city, where Biggie, being the king of New York, how did you not know? That's the way he looked at it. But it was, I think he overplayed that in his mind because Biggie didn't know. I think Biggie would have done anything to help him if he did know. And Biggie was most sincere, I feel, in that friendship, in that kinship. There might have been other business people around that might have been pulling strings, but Biggie and him were pure. So we got blamed, and Biggie got blamed for what might have been extortionists, robbing, wanting to, get an extra meal, whichever way, trying to set up how they're going to, do that thing that they do.
So Tupac, he wrote you a letter while he was in prison letting you know that he had issues with Biggie and Puffy. Go more into detail about that?
Well, there's a little bit of a backdrop to the story, but here's what I want to talk about with what you exactly asked. We're working around the clock to make things work. We know that's what's going on in the newspapers. This happened with Pac, he's arrested, this happened, da, 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 da. We hear rumblings. When I really knew what was going on, when I had to pick my head up out of my desk and writing checks and keeping up with 4 or 5 artist contracts and keeping the company going and payroll and all that, was when a woman by the name of Wendy Day, very important woman in the hip-hop world, I think she helped Baby and those guys with Cash Money label, setting that up. She's very influential and instrumental in a lot of success. When I started in the music business, I reached out to her. She had a company called Rap Coalition, she went back and helped rappers from a previous generation get their money straight, their royalties. With that being said, I was like, she's someone I want to know. In knowing her, I had the good fortune when she was dealing with Tupac during his crises on the East Coast. She went to visit him at Clinton. He wrote a letter, drafted it, so that she can bring it to me at the office so that I could know and be able to relate to Sean where we were with him. And the letter, if I remember, it said, West Side Up. And what we had heard was rumblings that Sugar came and signed him on a napkin to a contract, and he was going to go west, and all the stuff that happened to him on the east, it made it look like people on the east, the king or the biggest rappers on the east, or people that he knew, should have warned him or protected him against what had happened. And it just is not geographically laid out like that. And a lot of people caught some blame for things that they had nothing to do with. And he took offense, went west, and that started him as a mouthpiece against the East, all right, going at Biggie. And I think it's more than, that's one level of the beef. And I think there's another level
about
of
to die
things that were going on in the streets where things happened in the dividing line between East and West that caused a big rift that led to mouthpieces going at each other. So there were things that happened even before that that led to an opening and a rift. One thing I want you to know is that in Sean's defense, as far as East Coast West, when we started Bad Boy, maybe it was his tenacity, maybe it was his ego, but he felt it was a good idea to reach out and want to do and double ad in Billboard with Death Row. They don't know us, we don't know them, but of course we listen to their music, we're leaning in. Why not get attached to the other hot label that's going there running that? We're about to run this and let's be friends. I think Suge's office turned that down. There was a mock-up of what the ad could be like. It was a little bit maybe insulting, maybe to us, that they didn't want to do it. I think Sean got more insulted than he may have let on. I didn't take it bad because I could see why they wouldn't want to do it. And I can see that they can see through us why we would want to be attached to their wagon. Why wouldn't we want to hitch our train to them? But it helped us to stand alone. It helped us to be big boys on our own. But it started that emotional thing that led to the riffs that later led to the mouthpieces. An insult.
I ain't gonna lie. It was a great thing though, Suge did. He turned that shit down. Let's get it, nigga. Best coast win. Let's get these fuels and fire up this shit. I can see it. See, when you do dissing could be a good thing because it generate money. People love controversy. They love bullshit. No Biggie, party and bullshit. So I get it. But you know, Diddy is Diddy. And like Kirk said, Diddy don't know how to control his emotions. He'll lose firecracker. But that's it for right now for this morning. Phone about to die. I appreciate y'all. YouTube, get on what happened to my last video. Why y'all just shut him down like that? Like I just ended the video. I didn't end shit, motherfuckers. You goat mouth motherfuckers. Stop doing that fuck shit, Joe. I get on here and pop my shit. Handsome as fuck around this bitch. I do say so myself. I'm out, y'all. One love.